Welcome back to the video. This is part 2 story of the Masamune-kun's revenge. Part 1 video link in the description. As summer vacation finally begins, Masamune plans his next move to get closer to Aki, convincing her to invite him to her summer villa in Tsunade Island, along with Neko, Tae, and Kojiro. On the yacht, Yoshino informs Masamune that her research on Neko came up short. Yoshino threatens Masamune that she will reveal the whole story up to this moment if he does not make Aki fall in love with him by the end of the trip. At Tsunade Island, Adagaki family secretary Midori Uesaki welcomes Masamune, Aki, Yoshino, Neko, Tae and Kojiro to the summer villa. Masamune riskily declares that he is dating Aki, somehow convincing Uesaki. Aki is reluctant to pretend dating Masamune for the duration of the trip. At the beach, Neko gets extra clothes with Masamune when she wants him to apply sunscreen on her. Aki comes in between them and advises Neko to back off from her cheap flirting tricks. When Aki takes Masamune to an isolated area of the beach, she orders him to bring her back some lunch. While Masamune fetches a boxed lunch from Uesaki in the kitchen, Uesaki suggests for Masamune to visit a haunted mansion, though Uesaki secretly expresses envy towards Masamune for dating Aki. In the past, Uesaki witnessed a young Aki rejecting all the boys after she was abandoned by the chubby Masamune. In the present, Masamune, Aki, Yoshino, Neko, Tae, and Kojiro enter the haunted mansion at night one by one. Uesaki originally plans to cosplay as Ghostface in order to scare Masamune. However, Yoshino cosplays as Jason Voorhees and scares Uesaki, who runs away and ends up scaring Aki, Tae, and Kojiro in the process. Uesaki flees outside and encounters a spooky Neko, causing Uesaki to run into a pole. While Masamune later carries Uesaki on his back, he confides in her that he is not dating Aki. The next morning on the yacht, Yoshino respects Masamune for his risky strategy. Yoshino says that she will not say anything to Aki, but Yoshino states that she will not help Masamune if he cannot help himself. Masamune is contacted by Aki during his workout routine. He then tells Yoshino that Aki wants to meet in person in order to return a bag that he left at the summer villa. In his bedroom, Masamune realizes that the childhood photo of him and Aki has disappeared, certain that Neko stole it. Aki returns the bag to Masamune at a diner, though Masamune is bent on Neko stealing his childhood photo. Aki leaves after Masamune ignores her. Neko contacts Masamune and invites him to a water park with Tae. Masamune visits Neko in the afternoon at her apartment, where Neko makes hot tea. He snoops around her bedroom, filled with various pills and shoujo manga, but she eventually finds him. After she admits that she became interested in rose-eyed steroid because of him, she comes clean with Masamune's childhood photo. Neko kisses Masamune unexpectedly, saying that health is more important than looks. As Masamune contemplates that appearance is only one aspect of a person, he reveals that he had a snobbish attitude when he was chubby. Before taking his childhood photo with him, Masamune tells Neko that he cannot be with her, adding that his heart belongs to Aki. The next morning, a groggy Masamune meets with Aki, Yoshino, Tae, and Kojiro at the water park, though Neko decided to cancel on them. Later on, Shido rushes to inform the others that Neko has run away from the apartment since the morning. To make matters worse, the pills that Neko are actually anticonvulsants, and she puts on a cheerful facade to mask her fragile condition. Since Shido is aware that Masamune previously visited Neko's apartment, Masamune confesses that he rejected Neko and chose Aki. As Aki ignores Masamune's confession, Shido informs everyone that Neko left her cell phone and wallet at the apartment. Leaving Masamune behind outside the water park, Shido drives Aki, Yoshino, Tae, and Kojiro as they split up around town in search of Neko. Masamune and Aki end up together at the school, where Aki empathizes Masamune for rejecting Neko, yet pities Neko for wallowing in misery. Masamune asks Aki if she knows about the nickname Pig's Foot, but many love letters in the form of paper planes appear in the sky, leading them to find Neko on the school rooftop. Neko collapses in Masamune's arms, and she is sent to the hospital. Masamune contemplates if rejecting Neko was worth it, and he then visits her in the hospital room, where she starts talking about the past. It is shown that Neko was invited to a birthday party by 3 girls, but her condition was brought up when they mentioned tennis. Neko's grandfather suggested for her to undergo surgery, even though her condition would not be cured. She wanted the chance of falling in love, and she decided to pursue Masamune. Naoko enjoys the chase of falling in love. Aside from experiencing unrequited love for herself, she is satisfied that Masamune will not follow the same path. When Masamune comes back to the hospital lobby, he walks past Aki on his way out. While heading home, Masamune worries that he will end up on the same path of unrequited love, though he is still determined to execute his revenge plan. Outside her mansion, Aki recalls her conversation with Naoko in the hospital room, in which Naoko questioned Aki about her persistence of doubting Masamune's love. Aki believes that Masamune was very attractive when he was chubby. Masamune packs a duffel bag and leaves Chinatsu and Kinyu. Aki is approached by a boy who resembles a chubby Masamune. Yoshino's father is shocked to learn from a letter that the boy, introduced as Kanetsugu Gaso, is betrothed to Aki. As summer vacation ends, Aki rejects the head player of the varsity baseball team outside school. Masamune is surprised that Naoko has returned to school after recovering from her surgery in the past month, while Naoko realizes that Masamune did not make any progress with his revenge plan. When Masamune goes to see Aki after class, he is surprised to see that Kanetsugu is not only a transfer student in her class but also is engaged to her. Yoshino takes Masamune to the storage closet, where she confirms that Aki and Kanetsugu are living together at the mansion. Masamune observes that Kanetsugu is an exceptional soccer player, is very academically smart, and is inclined to sit next to Aki during lunchtime. After school, Tae, Sanoka, and Mary meet up at a fast food restaurant in order to discuss how Aki has changed. The next day at school, Tae proposes a play for the Osaka Festival, in which Kojiro and Masamune will star as Snow White and Prince Charming. After class, Masamune corners Aki against a wall in the hallway, but he is bereft of words, causing Aki to walk back to Kanetsugu. Tae, Sanoka, and Mary intend to protect Aki from Masamune as the three recall the conversation with Kanetsugu at the fast food restaurant, revealing that Kanetsugu does not plan to kiss Aki, even though he is engaged to her. Sanoka uses her status as the student council vice president in order to deny approval for the proposal of Class 2B to produce the play. Tae and Masamune learn that Class 2A had the same proposal for Aki and Kanetsugu. To solve this issue, Masamune suggests a promotional competition for a poll between both plays. Masamune also wagers with Kanetsugu, in which the winner gets to dance with Aki at the after-party. Tae acts sternly towards Kojiro during a stage rehearsal of the play in the school gymnasium. Kojiro runs out in the hallway and encounters Naoko, who is on her way to the school gymnasium carrying her costume. Kanetsugu approaches Masamune in the schoolyard, boasting that he gives Aki some chocolates during breaks. While Aki and Kanetsugu walk towards the food trucks after school, Kanetsugu reminisces that his poor parents wanted him to marry a rich girl. Masamune gets sick at home after exercising in his underwear, prompting Chinatsu to summon Kinyu, who wraps Masamune in blankets. On the day of the Osaka Festival, Sanoka hosts the promotional competition for the place. Naoko takes Masamune to the school infirmary, where she instinctively knows that he was sick and tucks him in the bed. She leaves after saying that she would not mind being his dance partner at the after-party. With an hour before the performance, Kojiro finds Naoko at the food stalls. In the school gymnasium, they inform Tae that Masamune has gone missing. Meanwhile, a skilled kendo practitioner named Kakunhei Kiba has captured Masamune in a closet and wrapped him in blankets. Mary orders Kakunhei to keep Masamune hostage until Aki and Kanetsugu finish dancing at the after-party. Aki finds out that Kanetsugu also has gone missing. Yoshino previously disguised herself as the evil queen and locked Kanetsugu in another closet. Kakunhei became a bodyguard for Aki since a year ago after the latter rejected a cheating kendo practitioner named Masaru Tawarada. Kakunhei releases Masamune after he accuses her of being unfair. Masamune confidently waits for his friends to rescue him after realizing from Mary that Kanetsugu is also taken hostage. Aki tells Mary that the show must go on without Kanetsugu. After receiving a message from Mary saying to leave Masamune and find Kanetsugu, a furious Kakunhei chases Masamune out the window, but she falls into the fountain below while he hangs onto the ledge. Tae and Kojiro tell Masamune that Aki is still performing without Kanetsugu, prompting Masamune to run back inside. Masamune runs to the school gymnasium, where he is in awe that Class 2A began their play without Kanetsugu. To prevent Aki from humiliating herself as Snow White, Masamune ignores Mary's objections and volunteers to be Prince Charming, thanks to Naoko. During the scene where Snow White ate the poisoned apple and dies in a coffin with the seven dwarfs tearfully surrounding her, Prince Charming appears on stage. Despite being stricken with a fever, Masamune pushes through and manages to kiss Aki, but she punches him in embarrassment as the play comes to a close. During the after-party, students of Class 2A and Class 2B eventually decide to have a karaoke battle as a tie-breaker for the competition. Tae, Aki, Naoko, and Yoshino each select songs, singing with mics and scoring pretty high. However, Sonoka and Kikune catch on to Masamune as he tries to escape from the karaoke battle. Aki and Naoko even perform a duet together. When it is Masamune's turn to sing, he ends up scoring the lowest despite burning 15 calories. Afterwards, Masamune and Aki sit on a park bench while waiting for Yoshino to come back from shopping. Masamune and Aki discuss how he stepped in during her play. He asks her to kiss him, but he ends up being fed a sweet baked potato just when Yoshino returns. When Aki and Yoshino leave, Masamune plots to execute his revenge plan during a class trip to Paris. So, that's the conclusion of the season 1 of the story. We don't know if season 2 will ever come, but if you want to know more of the story you can read its manga. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe and turn on the notification bell for future videos. Thanks for watching.